Coming back into our PowerPoint, I have listed here a lot of the data formats that Autodesk Navisworks can support. Obviously, any Navisworks format, any AutoCAD format, DWG or DXF, MicroStation, 3ds Studio, SAT files, DWF files, Design Review, your standard IGEST files, step files, STLs. So as you can see from this list of information, it's very easy to share data from multiple formats. These formats can be 2D or 3D. On top of this, we have the ability to support laser scan formats. So a lot of times in the industry, becoming very popular, is the idea that we go in and scan a plant. Maybe we're looking for the structural steel of that plant where we're going to be placing our designs into, what's going to allow us to later on check for interferences. So the ferro arm. So a couple different things that, as we can see, working with this, that we can bring in data and collaborate collectively inside a single software platform. And one last compelling item when thinking about Navisworks and all the data we can bring in is this great example I have here. Again, as we can see listed on the screen, Revit, MEP. The Autodesk Inventor product itself. All these items that I'm going to be talking about live inside of this scene or this file that we're looking at currently. Your standard AutoCAD. Again, STEP, IGEST, your ACES files. Even Google SketchUp. So as you can only imagine, as we work through this, we have the ability to look at multiple file formats inside a single software platform. There goes the need for all these companies that I deal with on a daily basis to own multiple platforms. Let's go ahead and move on to our next section. Moving on with our 5 reasons, we come across our second one. It's truly talking about large factory model visualization. Giving us the ability to go through and do some interactive visualization of plants, buildings, whatever the case may be. Gives us the ability to have smooth, real-time fly-through and walkthroughs. Allows us to visualize complete 3D layouts. This is going to help the stakeholders or anybody who we need to collaborate with truly understand the complete digital 3D model. Again, just as easy to use as bringing in data from multiple CAD systems. Everything you'll find with Navisworks becomes extremely easy. Again, one software solution that's going to benefit all of us. Let's take a look at what a walkthrough or a fly-through truly look like when created with Autodesk Navisworks. As we're back in Navisworks, and we're going to take a look again at some of this great visualization. First, I'm going to start with a walkthrough. This really gives us a first or third person point of view when working inside of Navisworks. It gives me the ability to rotate around in Navisworks, walk around as if I was actually walking through the plant, which is also great, is the idea that we can do a lot of things inside of this environment that people don't commonly think of. Where are the best, in this case, maybe emergency exits. We can even set off items as we're going through this design and see animation happening as we stop at different things. So we can build in scripts into this. We see the gate lifting and lowering and the parts rolling out on the conveyor. So you can really take that as far as you want as you're working through the design. Also, as I'm working with this walkthrough, again, we have the idea that we can take a look and we can actually go through and understand a little bit of gravity. So I believe I have my gravity turned on. So if I do, he should actually walk around the stairs. I can come up here. I can now take a look around and really understand, again, from this vantage point, what's the plant actually look like. So again, a very unique look and feel to working with a 3D plant layout, building layout, whatever the case may be. And as we can see, very easy to use, very easy to go through, create at the same time also. So I'll just kind of come back down the stairs. So some other things we have is the ability for clash detection. With clash detection on, that means he bumps out of the way of items. So just some simple things as we're walking through can really be handled. Gravity, collision. Do you want him to crouch if he gets to an object that's too low? So I've turned off clash detection, which means I can walk right through things. I've turned on the crouching capability. If I get to something that's too low, he'll actually bend down. So just a little bit of fun there. Now to the fly-through. The fly-through itself, and I'll just run an animation I created, because these animations that are really cool too, is you can create these animations, you can share them. So here's an animation of a fly-through. We kind of get rid of that first and third person point of view, and it's just, again, just a fly-through of the area or space we need to look at. Again, a very unique way of looking at our plant data, and again, we can save this out as an AVI, WMV file, and share it with others. Not many softwares are going to give you this unique look and this type of visualization that's needed. If I stop this, also, again, just some simple animations can be created at the same time. So if I just wanted a simple animation of, just a complete look around of one area, kind of rotating it back and forth, again, just different perspectives, different ways of looking at large amounts of data. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next session when thinking about Navisworks. So far we've covered, bringing in different components, different data, things like that. We also looked at some of the visualization that can be accomplished with the walkthroughs and fly-throughs working with Navisworks. Some other things that we need to think about is, especially with these large projects themselves, is that we really need to start thinking about timelines. A lot of projects are developed this way. Being able to import timeline information from Microsoft Project and other commonly used softwares for creating timelines and things like that. So now we can link this information into Autodesk Navisworks and really see almost a 4D simulation of actually the build phases of any plant, building, things like that. We found in the past that companies that are utilizing this technique have found times of saving themselves errors when it comes to manufacturing, understanding what can be placed before other items can be moved in, what truly makes sense. So let's go ahead and take a look at being able to go through and look at some of the 4D simulation that we can link back to some different types of project management software with inside Autodesk Navisworks. So now that we're back into Navisworks and we're thinking about our 4D animation, a little bit of project timeline visualization, where do we go about getting this information? Well, at the bottom of our screen we're going to find our timeliner. So our timeliner is going to allow us to do a few different things. We can look at the task on hand. Now these tasks I can generate individually inside of the Navisworks software. If I expand this a little bit more, that I can simply come in here, make a right click, and I can add task, delete task, all the different things I may want to do. With each one of these tasks, I have the ability to choose the start and end dates. When was the actual planned start time, planned end time? What type of construction is it? Are we actually doing construction, demolition? Is something temporary? A lot of things that we can really find here, and some of our customers have already found, is that in some cases on a brand new design, maybe they had to place some equipment before they even finished a section of a roof. So things like that can really be helpful utilizing Navisworks. Also with this, as I mentioned from the PowerPoint, is that we can link to some of the leading softwares out there for project timeline. There's 3 that are already showing up, and there's actually more. As long as we have the software loaded, would also show up in this list. But out of the box, we have Microsoft, Primavera, the CVS file, so different ways we can link that project information into Navisworks. On the simulation side now, we can actually go through and understand our designs a little bit better. The simulation itself is going to read from our timelines as needed. So as we start thinking about the different tasks, in this case we're going to take a look at just the construction of the conveyor itself. I think we basically have maybe 11 weeks planned here or so for the construction, maybe 12 weeks of just some of our conveyor system. So to take a look at this, we can simply select play. It's linking the construction, again, of our conveyor system to the actual timeline that we've imported or developed ourselves. So here we can take a look at the top of our screen that on day 23 of week 4, This is really where we should be at inside of our design. Are we on schedule? Are we on time? Again, great visual feedback. Great visual feedback for anybody else who needs to collaborate with this effort. Then we'll go ahead and let this finish out. Again, some pretty simple to use tools, very unique. And again, you can't just do this in any old design software. We can do this all in Navisworks. So as our project timeline told us, basically 83 days into our project, here we are in week 12, this is where we should be at. Again, the 4D simulation, linked back to project timelines, you can't beat it. Let's go ahead and look at some other tools that we're going to find useful inside of Navisworks.